Well, the NFL is headed to Detroit for this year's annual NFL draft. It's coming
That's
up
gonna be
very,
worse
very
than
soon.
Kansas City. That's gonna be fucking
Oh, dude,
trashy.
have you guys seen the
Disgusting.
pictures? Like, it doesn't look as fun. Like, everything's asphalt. There's no grass. It just looks like typical Motor City Detroit where your body is going to hurt and you have no place to sit comfortably.
Nothing speaks more to Detroit
Oh,
than that
place
right
to sit
there.
comfortably. That's a fucking that's the truth.
It is on Thursday, so by the time you're hearing this, you're only a day away or the day of. But there is quite a bit of movement going around in the NFL. I feel like rumors, especially surrounding the Chiefs, have been a little lackadaisical this year. We are not getting an inch out of the Kansas City Chiefs and where they may be going at pick 32. Could they trade up or trade down? We're also not getting a whole lot of movement out of the rest of the league. We know there's a couple teams that are talking about trading up, but I feel like usually the week of the draft, we're getting a lot more rumors and just overall talk and dynamic between teams or at least reporters.
I think the next 24 to 48 hours right before the draft is going to be crazy rumor central right there. There's nothing but rumors right now for teams trying to trade up to get a new quarterback, and it's going to get a lot heavier over the past two or the next 2 days because all I've seen is like, oh, it's not enough offering right now. They're going to up those offers right away. They're going to try to have somebody move up and get into those key spots, 3, 4, or 5 right there.
We've already had off-season trades happen, something that we didn't talk about because we were on break. Stephon Diggs of formerly of the Vikings and now formerly of the Buffalo Bills is in Houston with the Texans. They only traded away a second round pick to get him and then also restructured his contract so that he could be a free agent by the end of this season. Um, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, they already do not have a first round pick for this year because they traded it away last year when they traded up to get Will Anderson
Junior, yes. That pick belongs to the Arizona Cardinals right now.
at four. Correct. Gotcha.
No,
Um,
their pick is like that's their
oh,
own
that's right.
pick.
That's right.
Texans were
It's
a lot better than that.
yeah, I forget.
20
Um,
somewhere.
so does that move the needle for you at all with the Houston Texans and whatever ever their plans may be in the draft or moving forward into the season?
I think it's honestly great for the Texans. They're going all in right now for CJ Stroud. This is what you need to do for a rookie quarterback, especially someone of his caliber. Look at what can happen. And I mean, Stephon could go anywhere after that. The only team that they said that you're not allowed to talk to is the Chiefs
In the trade talks.
in
Yeah.
the trade talks. He's going to be a free agent next year. He may have some interest to come and play with Patrick. I may not
Just
be a fan of it,
pull
but
a Kevin Durant and just go to the team's rival that's been kicking your ass forever for so many years.
He might be a little bit too much of a diva. I don't think he'll
I mean, so that's the
be
thing.
great
Like
in KC.
it looks great on paper, but it's one of those things that that type of personality you implant him to an offense, could go south. It could go really well, but like if you get a guy that starts getting upset about targets and you're not feeding him the ball and the offense doesn't flow through him and or whatever it might be, like Stephon Diggs could cause just problems in the locker room. So
Yeah, and we can go back. I mean, there's some videos around of his days in Minnesota, and it seems overall like he was a fairly good teammate. But you could kind of tell in some of the answers on some of the joke questions that they would throw around that not too many people were real fond of Stephon Diggs. And then you get to the Twitter issues and everything that's going on or went on in Buffalo, and now it could definitely be a needle mover. It is on paper in Houston, but now you've got Stephon Diggs, you've got Nico Collins, you've got Joe Mixon who just came in. Tank Dell's going to be coming back from injury at some point. They've got some other guys on that roster who were injured last year and couldn't make it, or some rookie guys to pay attention to. There's a lot of talent down there, but given the history that Stephon Diggs has, that could also go completely wrong.
It can, but that's why they made it a 1-year contract in the end. That's all it is.
Trying to get contract year Diggs to help them get a Super Bowl title.
Get everything they possibly can out of him. Then, hey, you're a cancer to our locker room. Get out of here.
We've
Well,
also had. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, when the skill players look as good as they do, you look at the stuff that usually gets overlooked in offensive line and defense. Wherever holes you have there, that gets shored up. The Texans look like a team that are better than a. Well, no, they won a playoff game. Yeah,
Yep.
they did win
Correct.
a playoff
Yep.
game last year.
I'll go ahead and say it. They're
But
better than the
could go
Bengals
deeper.
for next year.
That's
What?
that's
I'll
pretty
take
low hanging fruit. That's not that. That's not that.
low hanging fruit was saying they're better than the Bills. I'm going medium hanging fruit right here. Still within reaching distance.
Can they beat the team that they just lost to with Derrick Henry?
Yikes!
I don't know.
Because
Maybe.
that's basically what it is. And then the next test after that is us. So
It's true.
who are you gonna beat to be number 2? And then it's us.
There were a couple other trades, nothing really of significance that happened post Diggs trade. Um, we had Mac Jones, who is now in Jacksonville, backing up former draft class teammate, I guess, whatever you want to call it, in Trevor Lawrence. And
Draft
then you
class
also,
colleague, maybe.
there you go,
There you go.
sure. And then you
No, they
also
were
had
teammates.
another.
Damn it!
You had another trade in Zach Wilson, who went from the Jets and is now at the Broncos. Currently, right now, he would probably be their starting quarterback, and I
We
couldn't
love
love
this
it any
move.
less.
We
It's
love this move.
fantastic.
This is
We will
the
have
greatest
resident.
move in the history of Broncos sports, dude. I love this move for the Broncos. This is they're gonna get consistency. They're gonna get what they've been wanting all along.
John Elway, fantastic QB evaluator. Let me tell you, I cannot wait to have on resident
This
Broncos fan and friend of the show pile on post draft
I
and
don't think
pre
he would want to
OTAs.
come on after this, dude.
I don't know.
What do
I
you
sent
mean? He
him.
has his
You
franchise
know we're just
quarterback.
gonna berate you about Zach Wilson for however long we run the damn
Listen,
podcast.
I did text him the other day and I was like, hey, I was like, looks like you got your quarterback for the future. And he goes, yeah, right. Said, we're definitely getting you back on before for the show before the season starts. And he goes, just get some misery out of me. Why don't you? Told him it wouldn't be as much fun if the Broncos were good.
Thanks for outlining your entire text conversation with him, bud.
You're welcome.
I couldn't tell where it was going, but
Well, that lines up all the significant trades that went on. There is a little bit of some rumor for some trouble that's
what?
going on in the NFL. Atlanta and Kirk Cousins could be seeing some suspensions, some draft removals, some fines for potential tampering
Tampering.
while Kirk was in Minnesota.
That's feature them problem. They don't care about it. They're not going
They
to take any
definitely-
draft picks from this year.
Yeah, it could be from next year and following years.
They don't care. They're already paying for Kirk for this year. They're going all in for this year only. If it doesn't work out, they'll deal with the consequences later.
They'll still have Kirk on a 5-year deal.
They won't have most of their players that they need, though. They're going to lose some money, some draft picks.
I think, well, most of their draft picks that they have, most of their starters that they have are all first rounders. So you're still going to have Bijan. He's got 3 more years after this, including the team option. You're still got Drake London for a couple of years. You still got.
He's close to his time up there for his new
This
contract.
is his 3rd year. He'll have 2 seasons left. Kyle Pitts will have 1 season left with the team option, not to include their defense that they do have locked up. That's at least a half decent defense. But it could spell trouble for them down there. This is one of the first times that we're seeing, I would say probably in the last decade, really, that we are seeing a team that could potentially be in trouble with tampering and the new rules that they have in place. What do you guys think could happen with this?
I think worst case scenario, which I think would be the best TV for the NFL, I think it would instead of it working out and being really cool down in Atlanta, uh if they do all this tampering shit, they lose draft picks for the future. Kirk Cousins comes back from that Achilles and is just shit. And they're screwed for the next few years or year.
That'd make for some good TV. I like that.
I would love it if they would go like, "Hey, Kirk, this wasn't allowed." They ship him back to Minnesota. Would never happen, but
Right.
that would be great TV.
Yeah, Sean, shut up.
Ship him back to Minnesota. Minnesota has the 11th pick in this year's NFL draft. And they are looking to take a quarterback. Now, there's quite a few quarterbacks, and there have been a few rumors about where certain quarterbacks may fall. I know Drake May was early talk of the NFL on being taken number 2 by the Commies, shortly followed by Jaden Daniels, and now it is looking like the Commies may take JJ McCarthy. Um, who who are your guys' favorite quarterbacks in this draft class outside of Caleb Williams, who will be going number 1 overall to the Bears?
Why isn't is Michael Penix fucking getting
Mike
drafted?
Michael Penix is in the draft. They are looking to send him
He's too old, man.
somewhere, but they do
He's
not
too
like
old?
his age. Is he 25, I believe?
Yeah.
25 years old. He's looking like a day 2 pick. At least that was the initial thought. There has been movement in the last couple of days that some teams may be looking to take him
There's always
late.
there's always one black quarterback in the draft that people aren't like taking seriously and turns out to be a good prospect. Come on now. No.
Fair.
Oh, Jaden Daniels is still my favorite quarterback in this draft,
Talk
even more than
about all the
Caleb
white
Williams.
quarterbacks, but
Okay. Jaden Daniels still my favorite quarterback in this draft, even ahead of Caleb Williams. I think if the commies miss him with 2, they are one of the stupidest organizations in the NFL. Yeah, he has that weird elbow problem. So what? Dude makes plays.
so
He's
what?
a Heisman winner.
Go JJ McCarthy.
A guy who barely threw it in college, but you don't know what you're getting in the NFL. Yeah, that's
blew it.
And do we really know what we're getting out of Jaden Daniels either? Yes, he did win the Heisman. Yeah, they put up a lot of points, but they had to fight
Somebody was
back
saying
from being
statistically the
down.
best offensive year in NCAA history.
What?
Statistically, he put up the best offense in NCAA history.
Yeah, he did, but the team was also down by 40 points every single game.
you act like it's his fault.
You know what? Very much like with Dak, if you had 3 opportunities to score to keep it in touch, like your offense is supposed to keep in line with the other team, yet you're not because you're losing by multiple scores every time. Just because your defense gives up the points doesn't mean that you can't score.
Dude, you rue this day, man. You will rue this day. Talking all shit on Jaden Daniels. He is going to be a top quarterback for this draft class.
All right.
Of all time, definitely not. I'm not saying that. But he's going to have a great rookie campaign. He's probably getting hurt somewhere through there. He takes a lot of hits. That's one thing I don't like about him. He takes a lot of hits, and they look like car crashes every single time.
Pocket presence is mid.
It's a little bit worse than RG3, and that's saying something.
Ooh.
But he's going to shine. He can throw it perfectly. He can run the ball. He's effective.
What is with everyone's love of Drake May? I get it. He looks like the prototypical NFL quarterback in size and stature. But we have yet to see a quarterback who comes out of North Carolina or Duke, anywhere in the North Carolinas, play well in the NFL. We've got Sam Howell, who's garbage. You've got Danny Dimes, garbage. Like we have not seen a North Carolina quarterback play well. Now you've got another one in Drake May who meets that prototype that the NFL wants, but hasn't ever really shown it.
It's because he's white. Point
That's it.
blank.
That's what I say.
Great analysis, Sean.
I mean, he's
Uh,
from North Carolina. He can't prove it. Who does he play every year?
In the
In the
ACC, good luck.
Yeah, nobody.
Carolinians.
Oh,
What?
he was great friends with Sam Howell. He was a quarterback in the same room with him. Like, if you have that guy with Sam Howell, how can that be a good combination right there?
Howell.
Yes, Sam Howell made it to the NFL, but he's struggling so much. His college teammate is going to do the same thing.
I don't disagree. It's not like Sam Howell's on a very good team, but I would agree that the North Carolina quarterbacks have yet to make an impact in the NFL. It just doesn't look good for those boys. And
I would
I don't understand the hype around Drake May like the NFL is seeing.
I would love to see him drop to the Giants, have the Giants take him, have the real rivalry begin. Duke quarterback versus UNC quarterback. Which one can prevail in New York?
And it's Tommy DeVito.
Tommy Cutlets.
The Vikings
Guys, being a
are
starting quarterback in the NFL is one of the hardest things to become and maintain. Like that shit is it's a lot of work, dude. So like why don't you stop?
Yeah, that's why I'm not one.
could have been decided not to be.
No, he could not have been.
Oh, I could have been.
Sean-
I decided at a very
Sean
young
could
age.
not have been a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I said whenever I was a kid, people asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "I don't want to be an NFL starting quarterback."
Well,
You don't think
that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You couldn't have been.
You don't
I
think
decided
Sean
at a
can
young
throw
age.
a tight spiral?
You were not given the genetics in your DNA, all the shit that's written biologically inside of you. It had nothing to do with being an NFL quarterback.
You talking shit on my family right now?
No.
He's taller than Kyler Murray. I mean, all he needed to do was hit the gym a little bit.
No. Mm-mm.
He can't throw a tight spiral, you think?
On a good day.
Even if he could, he's not an NFL quarterback. It's not in him.
That's why I'm not one.
That's it. I know. I already know that you aren't.